Today we'll study more about modules. In the last lecture, we studied how to create a module, how to use it, how to import it in a program, and how to import it in the interpreter mode as well as in the script mode. So today we'll study how to import them, all the different ways of importing modules. The simplest way is, as we have created a module named fact, we'll just write import fact. Then all the functions defined inside it will be, we can use them in our program, in the main program. We can use them by just writing this statement. Then another way is, if I know what are the functions inside it, I can write fact dot factorial, and in parentheses, I will write the number for which I'm going to compute it. So here we are passing an argument. So I will call it by using fact dot factorial, and in argument I'll give 10. So this is basically on the prompt. This is a prompt of Python shell. So this is interpreter mode. So on interpreter mode, we can import the function, import or call the function by using, this is module name, and this is function inside it. We can call it like this. And in the script mode, as we had created two functions in the Fibonacci module, fib and fibo. So if I want to call only fibo, then I'll write import fibo from Fibonacci. Then it will import only this function from this module. And if I want to import only fib, I will write over here import fib from Fibonacci. Then it will import only this function. And if I want to import all the functions inside a module, then I will just write asterisk import star from Fibonacci. If I write import Fibonacci, even then it will import all the functions. So there are two ways. Either I write import Fibonacci or import star from Fibonacci. These are two ways. The difference from this and this is that if I call or import only one function, then the entire library is not imported. That means our program will become faster because we are fetching only that function which is required for us. We are not calling all the functions. We are not importing all the functions inside our program. So the main benefit of using import Fibo from Fibonacci is that we are skipping rest of the functions. In our program, we have developed only two functions inside Fibonacci package, or you can say Fibonacci module. But there may be some modules where it can contain 10 functions. Then if we are going to use only one or two of them, then we should prefer to import like this, import Fibo from Fibonacci. So that's the main difference of either importing entire library or importing some part of the library. So this is all about the import command. Next is search path of a module. So what is this search path? When a module is imported either in the interactive mode or script mode, the Python searches the path of module at various places. Interpreter initially looks for built-in modules. In case of user-defined modules, the search order of interpreter works as follows. For built-in modules, it searches by itself in its predefined path, which is given in the environment variable part when we install Python, right? And when we create user-defined modules, as we have done in the previous lecture, then how it searches? First of all, it searches for the modules in the current directory. As I told you, when we create a module, we should save that file in the same directory where our other programs are saved or where we are going to save our new program. So we should save the module in the current directory where we are working. We should prefer this one. So first of all, Python automatically searches the module in the current directory. And if it does not find the module in current directory, then it sees the environment variable path set, where we already set the path either manually, and most of the time it is set automatically by Python when it is being installed. Fine. So the second preference has been given to the environment variable where the path has been set. And the default directory is sys.path. So this is the default directory of Python where all the programs of Python get stored automatically when we start writing programs in Python, either in interpreter mode or in script mode. All the programs by default are directed to sys.path directory. As we see, when we install C, Turbo C, all the programs stored in TC folder. Similarly, there is a default folder for Python programs which is directed by sys.path. So all the programs of Python stored in this directory automatically. So whenever we create a module, the preference of searching the module by Python is, first of all, it searches in the current directory, and if it doesn't find the module in current directory, then it searches in the environment variable path. Environment variable path means we can store our programs in any of the directory, either E drive or F drive, because sometimes our windows get corrupted. It is stored in C drive most of the time. So we should prefer to save our programs in other drives so that we can retrieve them later on also. So in environment variable, we can set the path in another drive as well as by creating a folder over here, like Python programs, Python progs. So all the programs will be saved over here, either in E drive or F drive. And sys.path is the by default directory where your Python has been installed. Then all the programs will be installed over, will be saved over there. So this is all about searching path of a module. Next is module reloading. This is very important concept, module reloading. What does it mean? The Python interpreter imports a module only once in a session. Suppose I have created module fact and imported it on the command prompt of Python, and then I am using, I'm just accessing it by using factorial 10 as we have done earlier, and by pressing enter it is just giving the answer over here. Fine. But what if I make some changes in this factorial function in my module? I make some changes in factorial function in the module. Then whenever I call it, use it in the interpreter, it will give the old results as per the old code. So although we have changed the code of factorial, but it will give results as per the previous code. So what should we do? For that, we should use a new method called reload. There are two ways, either to import fact again or use the reload method. What is this? First of all, I should read the statement so that it should be clear to you. Python interpreter imports a module only once in a session. If some modifications are performed in the module script, then it must be reloaded again in the interpreter for further use. This can be illustrated through an example where the module fact has been imported to call factorial function. If the programmer makes some changes in the definition of factorial, then the fact module needs to be imported again in the interpreter. Otherwise, it will provide the last executed output, which I have already told you. It will get the previous code. It will execute the code. It will execute the command as per the previous code. One way is to call the import command again on the prompt as import fact or restart the interpreter. One way is to just close it and restart it. And other way is to call the reload function, which is defined inside the imp module. So how to do this? It's very simple. You just need to write import imp, then write imp.reload fact. Then a new fact will be reloaded. New fact module will be reloaded with all the new definitions of its functions, new or updated definitions of its functions. So now the output will be the new one, not the older one. So this is how we can reload the module for which we have made changes. Now the dir function. This is a command in C DOS prompt also, dir, where it lists all the directory inside a particular drive. Similarly, if I want to see directories inside Python, I can use this dir function. It lists all the directories starting with this underscore. This is the format, their directories. It represents by using double underscore and then directory name, then double underscore again. So if I write dir Fibonacci, it will list all the by default directories which are built in also, and along with the functions which are defined inside it, which is fib over here. So it will load all the list, all the names of the directories inside it. From above, we see a sorted list of names with the user created definition fib is displayed as the output. The names begin with an underscore, are default Python attributes with the module. They are associated themselves by Python while creating a module. I can also write dir without passing an argument. Just like here, we can write dir with empty parenthesis. So it would be built-ins, and here it will show the module, not the function inside the module. If I write Fibonacci, it will show the functions inside it. And if I write just empty dir, it will represent the module name only, not the functions inside it. It shows that it provides the module name Fibonacci with the built-in files rather than providing the function definition names, as no module name is passed as argument to dir. Next is standard modules. Python language comprises with the library of standard modules, which are shown over here also. These are standard modules. Built-ins, cached, doc, file, loader, these are standard modules, which provide access to operations that are not part of the core of the language. Such modules are used to make system calls or to provide access to operating system. One of the important system module is sys, is available on Python interpreter. The variable sys.path is a list of strings that determines the search path for modules. We have already discussed about it. It is the default directory of Python. Usually, it is initialized to default path taken from the environment variable Python path. This can be modified by using standard list operations. So there are various list operations which are given in the appendix. So if you want to see the appendix, I'll show you. This one. These are all standard built-in modules. These ones. Future, main, dummy thread, and thread. So there are many. We can use them according to a choice or requirement. There are many modules. See, datetime, dbm, decimal, diff, lib, dis. They are sorted alphabetically. There are various modules which are built in. So we can use these built-in modules as well as we can create our user-defined modules, which we have studied in the previous lecture. Fine. Now Python packages. This is very important concept, packages. You should not be confused with module and package. What is a package? First of all, you should know that. As we see, in Windows, there is a hierarchical fashion of storing a file. There is a drive. Inside a particular drive, you create a folder, which we refer to it as a directory. And inside this folder, we create many folders and we organize our work. So it's a hierarchical fashion in which we save files in our system. Similarly, if there are modules of the same type, we can put them in a single package. We can categorize them. So suppose I have modules relating to shapes where I need to calculate area of shape or volume of shape, etc., etc. So they all belong to a single entity which is called a shape. So I can create a package called shape, and inside it I can create different modules, and inside that modules I can create different functions. So this is hierarchical fashion. Package, inside a package there are modules, and inside modules there are functions which actually perform the task. So how to perform it, let's understand. The prerequisite for this is, first of all, go through this statement. Python provides packages for managing directories and modules for files. Similar modules can be placed in one package, which makes maintenance of the project or program under development easier. As directory can contain subdirectories, similarly, a package can contain subpackages. So how to create it? The directory containing package must contain a file named init.py. So a file which we are making it as a package, it should create a file named init.py. Init means initialization. This is required as Python identifies it as a package due to init.py file. Because it's a special file, it's a package file, so it should start, it's a prerequisite that it should start with init.py. This file can be empty, or we can place the initialization code for the package to execute. So let's understand through an example how to create it. Suppose we want to create a package named shape. We'll create it like this. First of all, we'll write shape and then slash. This is backward slash. This is top level package. That means the package name is shape. And inside it, we'll initialize the shape package by writing this statement init.py, two underscores, then init.py, then underscore again. And inside it, we are creating sub package shape underscore 2D. And inside it, what we are doing? We are creating two modules, area.py and parameter.py, initializing the shape package. So this is again how we need to write it init.py, and these are two modules which will perform the actual task. The similar way we have created fact, we will write code for area.py and parameter.py. And for 3D shapes, I will initialize a sub package shape underscore 3D, and then I'll initialize it. And then there will be again two modules, volume.py and surface area.py. These are again two modules for which we need to write the code. Fine. So how to call it? This package, it's very simple. A particular package can be called by using import statement, as we have done for built-in packages. In the above package, the shape module can be called as follows. Import shape. We'll just write import shape, then all the modules and sub packages defined inside it can be called. The above statement will import all the sub packages as well as modules described in this shape package. A particular sub package can be called as follows. If I want to call only 2D shape packages or modules, then I will write import shape.shape2D. Then it will import only 2D modules. And if I want to call a particular module inside it, then I can write from shape.shape2D import area. It will not import parameter, it will call only, we can use only area module inside it. So it's very simple, and we can also organize our work by using packages. And they can also be imported by using the import command. So it is to be noted that while importing packages, Python looks in the list of directories in sys path. So by default, it looks the directory in the sys.path. So this is all about modules in Python. So what we have studied, we learned the creation of modules, which is an extension of user-defined functions. We discussed neat definition and creation of module in detail, how to import them, then directory and how to search path of a module, standard built-in modules, and then in the end, we have learned how to create packages and how to import them. So this is all about modules in Python. I hope you understand it thoroughly.